When you hear a story that's so unbelievable it sounds made up, it's easy to dismiss it as fiction. But what if we told you that these 5 stories are all true? Today we'll be sharing 5 crazy true stories you won't believe actually happened. Make sure to stay until the end, where we reveal a crazy tale of murder and deceit that will leave you stunned. Number 5. The Boy Who Could See the Future. Meet Ryan Rogers, a young man from South Dakota who became famous for his extraordinary ability to predict the future. People came from all around the world to meet him and hear his predictions. But how did Ryan develop this talent? Well, it all started when he was just an ordinary boy growing up in his mother's home. One day while at school, Ryan suddenly found himself transported to another classroom. Confused and scared, he tried to explain what had happened but no one believed him. Thinking he was having a mental breakdown, they sent him home. At first, Ryan's mom thought it was just a bad dream. But then it happened again, and each time he accurately described the classroom he had been transported to. Concerned for her son's well-being, Ryan's mother took him to see a doctor. But when the boy accurately predicted the outcome of several medical tests before they were conducted, the doctors became believers. Word spread quickly about Ryan's abilities, and soon people were coming to his house from all over the country to seek his help in solving their problems. Ryan continued to see visions throughout his life, often warning people about upcoming disasters or guiding them to find lost items. As Ryan grew older, he began to understand the power of his gift and used it to help as many people as he could. His story raises questions about the nature of time and reality and leaves us wondering whether we, too, have the ability to see beyond the present moment. No. For Escape from Alcatraz. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, John and Clarence, were 3 notorious criminals who attempted a daring escape from the infamous Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary in San Francisco. The plan was audacious, involving digging through the walls of their cells using makeshift tools, and then stealing prison guard uniforms to disguise themselves as guards. After years of preparation, they successfully made their way onto the prison roof and into a boat. They were never seen again. Despite extensive searches by the U.S. Coast Guard and the FBI, there was no trace of the men or their boat. This daring escape has become a thing of legend, with conspiracy theories abound. Some believe that the men were actually executed by the FBI, while others claim they simply disappeared into the foggy waters of the San Francisco Bay. What makes this story truly incredible is not only the audacity of the plan itself, but also the fact that it was carried out by some of the most notorious criminals of their time. The men were known for their cunning and intelligence and had developed a reputation for being impossible to keep in prison. Their escape from Alcatraz remains one of the most famous prison breaks of all time and continues to fascinate people today. 3. The disappearance of Amelia Earhart. In the summer of 1937, famed aviator Amelia Earhart set out to become the first woman to fly solo around the globe. She and her navigator, Fred Noonan, left Papua New Guinea and headed towards Howland Island in the Indian Ocean. Their plane was equipped with a radio beacon, which would lead them to the island where they planned to refuel and rest before continuing their journey. But the two never arrived at Howland Island, and they were declared missing after a week. The search for Earhart and Noonan was one of the largest ever conducted up to that point, involving ships and aircraft from multiple countries. But despite an extensive search, no trace of the plane or its occupants was ever found. Theories about what happened to Amelia Earhart abound. Some believe that she and Noonan crashed into the ocean and drowned, while others believe that they landed safely on a remote island but were captured by the natives and killed. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, people continue to be fascinated by the mystery surrounding Earhart's disappearance, and new theories continue to emerge even today. Number 2. The man who lived underground for 41 years. In 1978, a homeless man named Marvin Heimer moved into the underground tunnels beneath Columbus, Ohio. He had been struggling with homelessness and mental illness for years, and felt that the tunnels provided him with the stability and routine he needed to get back on his feet. Heimer lived in the tunnels for decades, scavenging for food and clothing, and avoiding the authorities who tried to evict him. During his time in the tunnels, he befriended a number of other homeless people who had also made their homes there. Heimer became something of a legend among the city's homeless population, and was known for his eccentricities and survival skills. Despite the unsanitary conditions and the danger of living in such a confined space, Heimer was able to survive for over 40 years without any serious health issues. Eventually, in 2019, he was evicted from the tunnels and given a small pension. While some criticized the government for not doing more to help him sooner, others argued that he had simply chosen to live a life of homelessness, and that no one should be forced to help him. No one. The cravings of a killer. Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial killer who targeted young men in Milwaukee, Wisconsin during the 1970s and 1980s. He was convicted of murdering 17 people and was sentenced to life in prison. However, the details of the case were so disturbing that they shocked the nation and raised questions about the nature of evil itself. The police investigation revealed that Dahmer had a bizarre set of cravings that he would satisfy by dismembering his victims and preserving their body parts as souvenirs. He would also take photographs of his victims and engage in necrophilia, meaning sexual activity with dead bodies. But what is perhaps most disturbing is that Dahmer was able to get away with his crimes for so long because the police and media failed to connect the dots and recognize the full extent of his horrific activities. It wasn't until a victim managed to escape that the full scope of Dahmer's crimes was revealed and he was finally brought to justice. The Cravings of a Killer is a harrowing tale of evil and depravity that continues to fascinate and disturb people even today. And while it may be hard to believe that someone could be so monstrous, the story of Jeffrey Dahmer serves as a reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the human heart. It's important to note that these are just stories that have been shared and discussed online and in the media, and we encourage you to approach them with a healthy dose of skepticism. While they may be entertaining to think about, it's always important to question the validity of extraordinary claims and to rely on credible sources of information. Additionally, it's crucial to remember that behind every story there are real people involved. When discussing sensitive topics like murder and death, it's important to be respectful and empathetic towards the victims and their families. So please be mindful of your language and avoid making light of these tragic events. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share for more updates.